Good evening, and welcome to Pop Go the Writers. Today we're going to do it like a golf tournament. We're going to speak very softly. ASMR.
I I can't talk that quietly. I can get a lot of people who can testify to the fact that I can't talk that quietly.
Oh, by the way, so
There you go. Now I'm awake.
yeah. Hey everybody, how you doing? It is July. Can you believe we're already in July and it's
I
actually July 9th already?
I cannot believe it. No, I cannot. Thank you.
Yeah. So I
Crazy.
did come out of last week with the one thought of why are there rules saying you can't have fireworks if nobody ever enforces them?
That's absolutely that's absolutely true. I
What's the
don't know.
point of the
It's
law? Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. If people want fireworks, by gum, they're gonna have fireworks.
Yeah. He's got the date right. Yep. I finally got the date right, Jay. By the way, hello, Jay. Hello, Harry. Good to see you guys. Today we are going to talk, of course, about the third episode of Marvel's Secret Invasion, which just gets deeper and deeper into the conspiracy. There's the big voice at the end of the episode. Everybody's trying to, you know who that sounds like. We know it sounds like, but so we got that. But I actually wanted to talk about the other rumor stuff going on right now. There's a couple of pretty interesting rumors, and a lot of them have to do with the sets that are being filmed right now. And I want to first address
The
the
sex
rumor
that's being filmed right now.
sets
Sets.
with a T, the film
Oh,
sets.
okay.
We're going to start with the recent report that Robert Downey Jr. has been seen on the set of Captain America: Brave New World.
I've heard that one.
Yeah, it's a pretty popular one, and there's
Mhm.
supposed to be photos, but what they talk about that when they do it, that he's out there and they end up driving something, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, you know what I watched last night? I watched Robert Downey Jr.'s Dream Cars. It's a new series on HBO Max or Max that features Robert Downey Jr. taking some of his classic cars and having them modified for more eco-friendly existence.
How dare he go over to the enemy? What?
So last night's episode, he has this thing that he calls the Thanos Thumper, which is this old K10 Ford from the 70s that is absolutely huge, has this 540 horsepower engine in it that it is just tricked out to the max. This thing is just a freaking beast.
Hmm.
And he brings in a squad to remove the engine, this custom made engine for this truck. It's like a Corvette engine that he put into this thing.
Mhm.
Remove it and make it an electric vehicle, but not lose the horsepower. And it's an entertaining little hour of television. And I watched it. It's Robert Downey Jr. doing his weirdness and all of that. It was kind of a fun hour.
I'm
So
sure
then
Disney just loves the name Thanos to be said on a show for HBO Max. I'm sure they
actually
just
that's not a bad thing because
love it.
if they see Thanos and somebody goes, I should rewatch Endgame,
Yeah,
and then they
yeah,
go
I
to
know.
Disney Plus and they watch Endgame.
It
But
is interesting that he would do a show
yeah,
with them, but
well, but he's his production company is doing shows like that.
mhm.
He produced the Perry Mason series that's out, which is on
Yeah,
HBO Max or
sure,
Max.
sure.
So it's going to take me a while to get used to calling it Max.
Hmm.
Anyway, the so my thought is, so he shows up on set, and they end up driving some cars. It sounds less like he showed up to play Iron Man, and more like he showed up to have a guest, like say Harrison Ford or Anthony Mackie, Anthony Mackie, who was a guest on Jeremy Renner's renovation show.
Mm-hmm.
I could see him showing up and filming a scene on the set for his show, and just doing a drive around and stuff. So
Would they still be filming for his show?
if a second season,
Okay.
so that's my thing, is that just because Robert Downey Jr. is on the set of Captain America: Brave New World doesn't mean he's going to be in it. Now, he might be in it. He might pop up in a flashback. I don't think they're going to bring him back in a Captain America movie. If he shows up, it's going to be either in an Avengers movie or an Iron Man movie. He's not going to just show up as a cameo in a movie, somebody else's movie.
Although there have been Captain America movies that have been basically Avengers movies.
That's true. That's
I
true.
mean,
Civil War.
you know what? He could literally be a hologram, too, or something.
Yeah, or like I said, it could be a flashback,
Yeah.
So all the people out there going, "Oh my God, it means he's coming back as Iron Man." No. Cool your jets. Cool your good jets.
No, he's too old.
Well, I don't think he's too old. I could see him popping up, but he's not going to do it in the middle of a.
He's too dead. He's too dead.
He does look older, though. He looks a lot more frail in this series. He looks kind of like he did after he got back from deep space in Endgame.
Well, he's letting his age show, I guess. All 58 years of his age, maybe.
Yeah.
By the way, do that sometimes.
Yeah, they did a great job on that truck, by the way, though.
Okay.
So it's a fun show. If you've got Max, it's worth the hour. I put on 3 shows last night, trying to watch them. I started The Doom That Comes to Gotham, which is basically Batman meets Cthulhu, or Batman meets Lovecraft, which I know Jay's going to love.
Oh.
Well, I don't see any fish people in it, Jay. But I got about 20 minutes into it. It's got Jason Blood. It's got Oliver Queen. It's got most of Batman's sidekicks. So it's not bad, but I got about 20 minutes into it, and I thought, I'm going to have to watch this again, because I'm going to let my ex-wife know that this is out, who is a huge Lovecraft fan. So she's going to show up going, "I'd like to see it," and then I got to watch it again. So I just stopped 20 minutes in.
She and I could not be friends. I could never be mistaken as a Lovecraft fan. No.
But it had the right feel for a Lovecraft story.
Mm-hmm.
So then I switched over to My Adventures with Superman, or whatever the new animated series is.
I wondered about that. Yeah.
And by the way, if you want to see it and don't have, you didn't catch it on Adult Swim and you don't have Max, the first episode is on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
In the Adult Swim channel. So,
all right, that's
so
good.
You can see it. I got maybe 10 minutes into it, and it's not for me.
I heard it's very comedic.
Yeah, I mean, there's a scene where Jimmy's picking on Clark. Ooh, you like Lois Lane. Ooh, it's like, I can't do it. It's Superman meets Archie, which again is probably a lot of people's cup of tea.
Yeah,
it's not mine.
It's supposed to be for kids, then, literally for kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Captain, we traced the call. The AI is coming from inside your car. Nice. Jack Quaid is and Jack Quaid is Superman, who's becoming very popular. So, yeah, I would have preferred if his dad had done the voice, but so I watched both of those and then bailed out on each and ended up with the Robert Downey Jr. car show, and that's the one I watched the whole thing of. And I wouldn't have even gone to that, but I was watching Jack Ryan, which is, I believe, 6 episodes. Might be 8, but I think it's only 6. And I got to the end of the 4th episode, and it's like, got to wait till next week for the other two. I'm like, hey, I thought you guys just dumped them all out there.
Poor
So,
baby, poor baby.
I had a little problem with the first episode of Jack Ryan because Michael Pena's in it,
Uh-huh.
and Michael Pena is playing this hardened CIA killer,
Uh-huh.
and all I can see him as is Lewis from Ant-Man.
Right, right.
So I expect him to tell these big long spy stories, but it took me, and then I thought he was the bad guy of the thing. It's like, no, he's not the bad guy. I'm like, oh, okay, at least I could get into it a little better. So I was able to get into it after the first episode. But that first episode, I'm like, that's going to be rough. But by episode 2, I was fine with him.
Okay.
So, and it's good. I love the Jack Ryan series on Amazon Prime. John Krasinski does a good job.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to see the progression of the character because the first season, he is literally the desk guy pulled into this world. And now we're in 4th season and he's out there do 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 do. So yeah, that's the first thing I was thinking of is the whole Robert Downey Jr. on set. I don't think people should take that as he's going to be in the movie.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying he won't be,
I
but
agree. There's probably more chance of Hugh Jackman showing up in the traditional Wolverine costume in Deadpool.
yeah, that's the other rumor. And everybody's like, oh my God, they're going to put sleeves on it. Wolverine doesn't wear sleeves.
I saw an utterly fantastic mock-up that somebody did that as I started to go through my Facebook yesterday, I saw that and I was like, it literally, I mean, I'm usually not fooled by stuff, but I looked at that and I went, I mean, it was really good. It looked literally just like a publicity photo was released from it. And boy, did the outfit look, fantastic. And it was kind of a modern take or a movie take, on the Wolverine outfit, and it just looked really good. And then I realized that all that was some obscure Facebook group that was the only people that had that photo. And I thought, yeah, can't be real. But it was good. It was done very, very well.
With all the CGI and stuff, the AI and the CGI stuff, you would think that if the studio is not trying to hide the costume, like if it's going to show up in trailers and whatnot, they should, once the guy's fitted for the costume and they have it locked, before they start shooting with it, so these bad set photos come out, actually take a picture of the guy in it with the good lighting, with the good background, and release it.
Yeah.
So, and CW used to do that. Anytime they had a new character who was going to have a costume, they released an image of them beforehand, so that people would get the actual image of what they look like in a controlled setting.
So where did that rumor come from? Was there anything that spurred that one on, or
about the suit is that there are people reporting that he's going to be in the yellow suit.
Okay, that's all.
So what happens is you've got some people that are somewhat in the know, that have like a decent track record, and they'll put out a tidbit of information, and then these other people who have no connections will take that story and then expand on it with the idea of, well, it's 50-50 chance it could be right. We know the base of it is, so
we'll look like geniuses if the
exactly.
coin drops on this side of the
and that's usually what happens and how these things start blowing out of proportion. Robert Downey Jr. is on the set. Well, and now there's images of him in an Iron Man costume that are supposed to be current. It's like, no. Besides that, they don't put him in the Iron Man costume anymore. He's like, whereas parts of it, along with CGI ping pong balls that they paint in. So
with the whole Jennifer Garner thing, which is real from what
we're gonna get to, that's where we're going next.
Overall, what's your take on Deadpool 3? Of what do you think what do you think the movie is?
I think Deadpool 3 is a way to close the door on the Fox movies. And the
Okay.
Fox movies, now we think of them as the X-Men movies and the Fantastic Four, but technically that also includes Daredevil. I think that includes the Nick Cage Ghost Rider movies.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a ton of them that,
Yeah.
and I think what they're going to do is they're going to do a Far From Home or the Flash type thing where you're going to have a bunch of cameos as they kind of close the door on this decade of movies and stuff that came out.
And
You
you
know,
think that Deadpool's going to literally make a jump between universes?
yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Is I think we'll get the jump. Now, if Marvel's smart, and they usually are,
Hmm.
they could really blow everybody's doors off if, when they do the jump, he leaves Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and he ends up with whoever the next Wolverine is, just as a cameo at the end.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's how we.
if they're going to have all of these cameos or whatever you want to call them from the old universe, they have to have somebody or some buddies from the regular MCU, whether or not it's people from forthcoming movies or literally just denizens that we've already known. They have to have somebody there, and we haven't
Well,
really heard anything like that.
what they're talking about is the TVA is going to be in it, and because they're trying to, because at the end of Deadpool 2, he gets a hold of a time machine and
Uh-huh.
he starts trying to correct things like
Yeah, sure.
kills Ryan Reynolds, you
Right.
know, stops the ending of X-Men Origins Wolverine or whatever that was.
Hmm.
So he has that time jumping. I think he kills baby Hitler at one point. Um, so the word is that there's going to be a TVA agent, that Mobius is supposed to pop up, Owen Wilson, and that it will tie together like that. And you'll see stuff like these different figures popping up, like Ben Affleck as Daredevil,
Yeah.
Jennifer Gardner as Elektra. Um, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if Colin Farrell would pop over as Bullseye. Maybe we get a Nick Cage cameo.
I still think if you have all of that, you still really need to have something good and solid from the MCU, as sort of like to really cement the fact that he's made the jump.
Yeah,
And literally, it's like, does that mean a cameo by Chris Hemsworth as Thor? Does that mean Tom Holland as Spider-Man? Does that mean Robert Downey Jr. as the ghost of Tony Stark?
yeah,
You know what I mean? I really think it needs somebody significant, to really, really hammer that home, sort of like the welcome committee in a
yeah.
way. And I really don't know who that would. It could be She-Hulk, for all. I mean,
Well, actually, the perfect person would be Tom Hiddleston,
yeah,
since they're already bringing the TVA in,
yeah.
having Loki at the end going, "Who the hell are you?"
Who the
You
hell are
know,
you? Right.
it's all he needs is just to stand there going, "Who the hell are you?" You
Hmm.
know? So
That's
the
what I need.
potential is there for something
Yeah.
like that.
I can't
But,
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm actually like sort of looking forward to that movie. I I don't know why. I went and I finally watched both Deadpool movies just because that he's making the jump over to the MCU, and it's like, well, I go and see every MCU project, so I have to go and see Deadpool 3. But now, I think it could be a lot of fun.
what's funny to me is that when people look at Deadpool, a lot of the credit goes to Rob Liefeld,
Hmm.
and I don't really credit Deadpool to Rob Liefeld, because the Deadpool that Rob Liefeld created was basically Deathstroke the Terminator with Spider-Man's personality.
Yeah, right. I mean, there was an evolution there,
Right.
sure.
The Deadpool we have now is pretty much courtesy of a different creative team,
Mm-hmm.
which was Joe Kelly and Walter McDaniel.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that did the first Deadpool series. They're the ones that did the fourth wall breaking and all of the just craziness that
Right.
we now come to expect from Deadpool. And Rob Liefeld created the character. Rob Liefeld designed it, everything.
Yeah.
But for me, it didn't really become an actual character. It didn't become what he is today until Kelly and McDaniel got to him.
Sure. Sure. I mean, that's all. Yeah, that's like the difference between Stan Lee's She-Hulk and what we now know.
What John Byrne did with her. Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say, and happy belated birthday to John Byrne, by the way.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's funny how all that works. There's certain characters and stuff that we look at and it's like, oh yeah, that's a great character, but that's not what was originally created.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, Bob Kane's version of Batman is very different
Sure.
than what we
Yeah.
have now. He carried guns.
Right.
You know?
Hmm.
So but yeah, so I'm fascinated by what they're gonna do with the Deadpool movie because there's a tone you've got to keep, but bringing him over is going to be very unique,
Yeah.
and what's he going to be like in the Marvel universe?
I think it's confirmed that it is going to be the first R-rated MCU movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're going to get really irreverent, then you're going to kind of wonder whether you want to stick one of the bigger MCU characters, in there.
Yeah.
You know what they should do? They should literally get they should literally have Nick Fury in there, and then we can finally get Samuel L. Jackson to finish his his famous line, that he doesn't have to have it cut off.
Yeah, the first F-bomb in the MCU went to Chris Pratt. How did that happen?
I know.
It should have been Samuel L. Jackson, who in a lot of ways, and is kind of the creator of the F-bomb.
Yeah.
He's not, but he is.
Yeah. Yeah, he's of what we know today as the F-bomb, he's not the guy that actually first said it or designed it.
Yeah.
But much of what we know today as the F-bomb, was popularized by so take your Loki scene and just have that with Nick Fury going, what are you?
Yep. By the way, I want, and I don't know how they're going to do this, but at some point I need a scene between not Robert Downey Jr., between Samuel L. Jackson and Harrison Ford.
Oh, God.
Because there is a unique thing. For the longest time, Harrison Ford was the actor that collectively was in the most money-making movies. Mm-hmm. So if you put all his movies together, they had made more money than any other actor.
Yeah.
And then it came along that he was passed, and I believe it was Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Sorry.
Wait, I like the way you said it.
He was passed by Samuel L. Jackson, and then Kingdom of the Crystal Skull put him back on top.
Okay.
And they've been kind of going back and forth ever since. So those two have the most money. And if you think about it, Samuel L. Jackson's in Star Wars movies, Jurassic Park, in Marvel. So just to have them both in the same scene would be awesome. And to see one playing Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross and the other playing Nick Fury, that in itself is a scene we need, because I don't think we've seen the two characters on the screen together.
No.
Even when it was William Hurt. So I want that. I want that so bad.
Yeah. Well, I hope you get your dream come true there.
Yeah. Let's see. What do we got? Harry says they're just piecemealing out Jack Ryan because it's the fourth and final season. It is the fourth and final season, But from what I understand, and I haven't seen the ending yet, but from the people that have seen the ending, they say that there's a door left open that they might do the Rainbow Six series, and that Jack Ryan would appear in the Rainbow Six series. So it may not be the end of Krasinski as Jack Ryan, just not another Jack Ryan series. He may, show up as a small part in the Rainbow Six series if they do it. Jay says, I'd love if it was Deadpool kills the Fox universe. It sounds kind of like that's where they're going. Harry says, it's over. It's all over. I'm just another cameo from an old universe. Jay says, I'm hoping for Spider-Man. We might actually get Team Red, a show or a movie will do it for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harry says, yeah, that Deadpool series took a page from John Byrne's She-Hulk. Yeah. So John Byrne did start a lot of that. But yeah, we didn't get the Deadpool we have today until Joe Kelly and Walter McDaniel took the series on. Let's see. And Kari Soni, who plays Dopinder, says it feels like the other Deadpool movies. And that's great. But then again, I watch a lot of behind the scenes stuff and the director's commentaries. And there is a blindness that goes on when you're working on a movie that you think you're making a great movie. Everybody working on a movie thinks they're making a great movie. Nobody ever releases a movie thinking it's a total bomb.
Sure.
Unless you worked for Roger Corman. It happened a couple times. The Fantastic Four movie he did is the example of that. They knew they were just doing it to hang on to the rights.
Yeah.
Anyway, so everybody, you watch the original Daredevil, the director's cut, and there's this great moment where the director's talking about all the things that he really wanted to do, and how with the director's cut he finally got to, and it's a better movie. The director's cut is a better movie. But in the behind the scenes, there's a moment where they're talking to the producer. And he says, I am really glad that whatever the director's name was, I don't remember. I think it was Mark. He was doing a bunch of the superhero movies at the time. I can't remember his name all of a sudden. But
I think it was Zack Snyder.
No, there was this guy that did he did a couple superhero movies around the same time.
Okay, sorry.
But hey, I'm glad he got a chance to put out his version. But I feel that the theatrical release is the superior version. And I think everybody who sees that clip goes, no, it's not. You're very wrong. And it is. The director's cut is so much better because it cuts out the Electra sex scene. Which isn't that, sex scenes are bad.
Yeah.
But because he chooses to have sex with Electra over going to help somebody.
Okay.
And in the director's cut, he goes and helps that person. He leaves her on the roof. Very different. But the producers are like, what do you mean we don't have a sex scene? We have Jennifer Garner and now Ben Affleck. We have to have them have sex. And the director was like, no, we need them to go sit. And that's one of the scenes. Plus, there's the whole Coolio subplot, which is really cool. And kind of fills in a lot of gaps. So if you ever get a chance to see the director cut of that Daredevil and you haven't seen it yet, watch it.
So there's no way that we have Jennifer Garner as Elektra in this thing, but we don't have Ben Affleck.
No, I think we're going to end up with a bunch of cameos. Maybe we get Ian Grufford back as Mr. Fantastic, or I don't know if Chris Evans will come back. He might. I mean, he should.
I mean, that would be hilarious. And you know what? It's too bad. Now, that would be the best thing of all, but it's too bad that Chris Evans is not Captain America, is not Steve Rogers anymore. They literally, Deadpool has Chris Evans as Johnny Storm, and he makes the jump, and there's Chris Evans waiting for him, except he's a different character. I mean, that would be really, really. Or if he at least saw photos of Steve Rogers, and he goes, "Hey, why is Johnny Storm up there on that photo?"
I think what he ought to do is show up, and he's standing in front of Rhodey and Bruce Banner, except it's Terrence Howard and Ed Norton.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I think I'm in the wrong place, and then he jumps to our universe.
Yeah. Well, he could jump into a earlier time in the MCU. It doesn't necessarily have to be. He could have been around, and we just didn't know it. I mean, that's literally like he could jump into different times, and be like behind a rock or something during Endgame or whatever. I mean, that could be very interesting.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
I'm curious how I have a feeling that by the time we're done with Phase 6,
Mm-hmm.
with all these multiverse and stuff, we're going to have a very different universe.
Mm-hmm.
And another rumor going around right now is that the next phase of movies after the multiverse saga is supposed to be the mutant saga.
I can see that. I mean, yes, if we're headed down that road, they could make that big of a thing of it. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Well, it's better than maybe doing the Korvac saga.
And kill everybody. Yeah. And then bring them all back to life. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what's a huge story from Marvel that hasn't ever really been touched upon at all, and I'm not sure what that would look. The Galactus saga, I guess.
House of M.
Yeah.
That's the only one I can think of.
Yeah, sure.
Because all the other ones kind of suck. They did a lot of big crossover events, and it's like, no, that really sucks.
I mean, they could literally do the Beyonder, I get,
Yeah. But what do you call it? Because it was called Secret Wars.
I know, right. Well, yeah.
Trial of Galactus? I don't know.
Yeah, the Beyonder saga, I guess. I don't know, but you could have a strong it could be led by another strong central character. If everything before was Thanos, then we have Kang, and then they do the Beyonder,
Yeah.
What if we end up Beyonder comes to Earth thing in Secret Wars 2?
Yeah.
It might have.
We could do a whole phase set in 1602.
Yeah.
That would be bizarre.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and shift. Harry says the new universe. I assume you mean like Starbrand and
Starbrand, Night Mask,
the Cyforce,
Kickers Incorporated,
Spitfire, and the Troubleshooters.
Yeah, right. Oh God. Jeez. Oh my! Wow. Whew. I got whiplash there for a minute.
Yeah.
I used to really enjoy Starbrand. That was the only one that I followed through and kept buying. I tried a couple other ones, but I stuck with Starbrand.
I liked a lot of them. I like DP7.
Right.
I don't think another good one.
I tried Night Mask for a couple of issues and I couldn't get into it. It was pretty much Starbrand for me.
And Starbrand's the one that's actually made the jump over to the main universe, and I think there's a character running around with the Starbrand now.
Yeah, yes, there is. Yes, that's been going on in Avengers for a while. There's been a few other ones too that they've tried or at least brought a version of them in, but Starbrand is definitely a bigger part of the Avengers stuff right now.
Yeah. I wish if they were going to do anything, they'd bring back the Malibu characters, the Ultraverse.
Ultraverse, yeah.
There was some good characters in that, like Mantra, Prime, Hardcase, Firearm, Sludge.
You know what they could do is Avengers. It's called? Avengers 10 million BC, whatever that.
There you go.
That would be kind of cool. Now that I think of it.
Or they could jump to the future and do the Guardians story with the actual Guardians, with
Oh,
Van
okay.
Astro.
I almost thought you were going to say 2099.
2099 would be interesting.
Although 2099 doesn't sound as futuristic as it used to sound.
True.
But still, like the Spider-Man 2099, a live action version of that would be really interesting. Doom 2099,
For
Ravage
sure. Ravage
2099.
2099.
Yeah.
Was there a fourth one, or was it just those three?
I swear to God there was another one. X-Men. X-Men 2099.
Oh, okay.
That was the other big. That was another big one.
Let's see. Actually, Harry says, I tried to bang out a spec script for Night Masks that I wanted to submit to ABC for 10 p.m. TV series back in the early aughts, but I got halfway through it and gave up. You know what? Speaking of Night Mask, Nightman from the Ultraverse actually made it to a TV series, which for the 80s wasn't horrible.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it had some good jazz music. He drove a Prowler. Remember the Prowler cars?
Vaguely.
They were basically the little two-door coupes with the open top, like the old dragsters.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was interesting, but they never expanded it into any of the other characters from the Ultraverse, which I think. But then again, the reason the Ultraverse isn't back and is because of royalties. Because the deal Malibu had, all of those characters, if they're used, the creators get money for it.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't the case for most of the Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel didn't buy Malibu to get the characters. They bought Malibu for the coloring department.
That's funny.
Malibu was leading the industry in coloring when that came out. Oh, Jay says it was 1997 that Nightman came out.
Oh,
you have to
wow!
understand,
Really, 1997? Huh.
Anything more than 5 years ago could be anywhere back in the 80s. It just
wait. Why does he say Stingray? Stingray is a Marvel character.
Stingray was a TV series that starred Nick Mancuso as kind of a Knight Rider type character, and he drove an old 1950s Stingray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't remember that.
That's what he's talking about. There was also Viper from the 90s. There was also
there's this one that I'm thinking of. It was a female character, and she had a very skimpy outfit on. Shoot. I watched like the first one or two episodes of it.
Night Justice or no, Black Scorpion.
I was gonna say it was something like Scorpion, Black Scorpion. Yeah. That was the one I was.
The movie version of Black Scorpion had Joan Severance in it, and was pretty close to a softcore porn movie.
Yeah.
And then they made it a TV series.
Oh, okay. Is that what it was?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Black Scorpion. Jeez.
Yeah.
Somebody
is the other one I was thinking of.
Somebody should create a channel out of very, very obscure filmed superhero projects.
I think we just did.
Yeah, I know, really.
Yeah, because we've talked Stingray, we've talked, we might as well bring in Street Hawk.
Oh, I just thought of an idea for the Deadpool movie.
What's
Have
that?
a cameo, because you said Knight Rider, and that jogged my memory. A cameo of whatever that guy's name is.
David Hasselhoff.
As Nick Fury.
Yes.
Right?
Totally see that. Speaking of which, and I mentioned this on my show, but you mentioned David Hasselhoff and Knight Rider. Knight Rider, the voice of Kit was William Daniels. Mm-hmm. William Daniels, of course, played John Adams in 1776,
Yep.
which is my tradition for 4th of July,
Yep.
which I watched. And
Yep.
I have noticed that over the years, more and more people are doing the same thing I do.
Hmm.
They post that, hey, I just watched 1776.
Hmm.
It's my tradition for 4th of July. But I came across somebody who's a bigger nerd about it than I am.
What?
This guy owns, if you've ever seen the movie 1776, most of it takes place in Continental Hall.
Yeah.
And they've got this big board up on the wall that has the 13 colonies. It's a tally board. And it's got the three stops. It's got yay, nay, and abstention or not voted.
Yeah.
And they always move them back and forth. Oh, we vote yay, we vote nay.
Yeah.
This gentleman owns the actual board from the movie.
Who would have ever thought of trying to find that or get it? Or
It's mounted on the wall in his house. He put a picture of it up for 4th of July, and it's set at the vote for independence. And it's the vote because there is 12 yays and 1 abstention.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch the movie, New York abstains courteously throughout the movie because the representatives are there with no instructions on how to vote. So they literally just abstain from every vote.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it had to be unanimous. They had passed a thing where there could be no nay votes.
Yeah.
So 12 yays and 1 abstention counts as passing. But the best part is who this guy is that owns this board.
Uh-oh, here it comes, folks.
I think, if I'm remembering his name correctly, it's Bill Prady, the co-creator of The Big Bang Theory.
Now, how do we know that's the real prop?
He says it is, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to believe that he spent enough. He made enough money on The Big Bang Theory to buy whatever the hell he wants.
I know. But why would that have survived that making of that movie if it's a big, huge thing? Especially with a big, huge thing, they'd get rid of it. I don't know. I have a feeling he paid a lot of money to have it made, but
you have to remember that in 1977, when Mel Brooks decided to make Young Frankenstein, he tracked down the guy that made the sets for the 1930s Frankenstein movie, 1932 Frankenstein movie. And when he told him, hey, we want to use, do you still have the plans? He said, of course I still have the plans. Or do you just want the actual sets? They're in my garage.
It was probably the Strickfaden machines, all of the things that twirl and the Jacob's ladders, and because those got used in a lot of movies later. But that was Kenneth Strickfaden, I think is the way his name is pronounced. That all those crazy great machines that did all of that stuff or whatever. Yeah, what a cool story. Yeah, I hear you. I get it. That somebody saved that.
All right, let's catch up on some comments. Harry says, Stingray, okay, wow, on the Black Scorpion movie. Yeah, I remember watching that Black Scorpion movie.
Automan. I forgot about that one. Automan.
Oh, yeah, Automan with Desi Arnaz Jr. Harry says, oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about there was a show called Stingray besides Viper. Yep. Yes, Stingray TV show too. Viper, Famke Janssen was a model by night. Oh yeah. Automan, Street Hawk, Blue Thunder they did as a TV series. Of course, one of my favorites, Airwolf.
Airwolf, yeah.
Where the vehicle became the star of the show. Hey Jamal, good to see you. There was also that Generation X TV series. Yep. With I can't remember the actor's name, but he also played Lex Luthor in the Lois and Clark series. Okay. Harry says, "Oh, here's the mother of all obscure TV shows. Throwback Sable. Yes, John Sable freelance. They introduced. It had Renee Russo as his love interest before she was in um, Lethal Weapon, and it had a character named Cheesecake, who I recently saw. The actor Cheesecake was a blind computer guy, heavyset African American guy who was blind, and he did computers. John Shea, thank you. John Shea was Lex Luthor, but he would read through Braille. He would print out through Braille. And yeah, I remember watching the Sable series. I believe somewhere I have them all on VHS tape somewhere in my storage unit. Yeah, I watched all of those. Absolutely all of them.
Yeah, you were that. Yeah, you were that one guy that watched them all.
I was that one guy. All right, we need to switch over to Secret Invasion. We've done 45 minutes of the show.
I wanted to hear more about 1776. I'm sorry.
I would do an entire episode about 1776.
I know you would. Well, I have that same tradition of watching Jesus Christ Superstar on Easter, so that's the equivalent, I think, right there.
Yeah, I could see that. My ex's was 10 Commandments on Easter.
Okay.
No, Ben-Hur. The chariot race one.
Ben-Hur.
Yeah.
Yeah, chariot races, Ben-Hur, right.
The original, not the remake.
Okay. Oh, so, okay. The silent version, you mean?
No, the Charlton Heston one.
Oh, which was a remake.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion. Okay.
So anybody questioning whether or not they're actually going to make a Super Skrull? The guy comes out and calls them Super Skrulls.
Well, I think we've pretty much already seen the Super Skrull, right?
He gets stabbed and pulls his hand through and then uses it. It's Extremis. I mean,
it's the same glow.
Yeah, that's pretty much the Extremis thing. So we know they're getting that.
Yeah.
Which I thought was fascinating.
Well, here's my question. Does Emilia Clarke survive? Oh, oops. Maybe we should put up spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Spoilers. There we go. We're so official now.
Does Emilia Clarke survive because she's already taken the process?
I think that's the case because we've seen clips of her from later episodes in the series.
Yeah.
And we've seen what looks like her standing in the center of that machine.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, Okay. But then there's always the possibility that she's dead and that the person she took over comes to life. Comes out,
Yeah, that would be rough for Talos that his daughter would be, dead. But I kind of wondered about that too. But it literally could be that there's it's Super Skrull versus Super Skrull at the end. Yeah, and it would be Gaia versus forgot his name. Gravik. I can't believe I forgot his name already.
Just think about Batman talking in Gravik, and you'll have it forever now. There's a super scene in one of the trailers. Yeah, we get to see the arm stretch and stuff like that.
It looks like Groot.
Yeah. I still think it's pretty clever how they found a way to use existing characters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Explain them a way to give them at least similar powers to what the Super Skrull is supposed to have. I thought they did a really good job with that.
Except for the Invisible Woman.
Yes. And I think we'll find out that the Frost Beast has the ability to camouflage or something.
Or something like that. Yeah. Or they're just not going to worry about it at all. So you question the voice at the end. Is that right?
Yeah, because normally if you turn on the CC, the closed caption, it'll ruin spoilers.
Yeah.
Because it'll say Rhodey on phone.
Yeah.
But this time it just said man on phone.
Which is not conclusive
I know.
Necessarily, but okay.
Yeah. Do I think it's Rhodey? Yeah, it's probably Rhodey.
Or a Rhodey.
Yes. I
I
still don't think that he's been a Skrull for a long time.
I
If he's
don't
a
think
Skrull.
so either. I hope not. I hope not. I mean, it literally could be that they just made a Skrull Rhodey. Here's my other thought. Is it maybe that he has somehow cut into her phone call? Like I don't know, intercepted it or something, and is calling her, to a meeting or something like that.
Possible?
Yeah.
That is always possible. Jamal, I am too old to watch shows without the CC. I don't hear well enough to, I
I
miss them.
refuse to. I mean, I'm older than you, and I refuse to. The only thing when I watch a foreign show, when I watch Ultraman and everything, of course I'm gonna have. I want a script at
Yeah.
the bottom to tell me what's being said in English, but I can't. I just can't do it. My podcasting partner Fred Lefevre, he always has the CC on, and he keeps telling me I really need to do that to be able to catch everything. But
Yeah.
I'm
It does
not to
help.
that point yet.
It helps in a lot of ways. It
Mm-hmm.
really does.
I
Especially
know.
with names.
I
They'll
know.
throw names by, or they won't give you a name, but the closed caption does.
Yeah. So who is Fury's wife thinks she's going to kill? What is it, Nick?
I don't know.
Okay. I
That
mean,
could
what do
be.
you think?
Yeah.
I know you don't know.
I can't get a read on her yet.
Uh-huh.
You know, um, maybe she's going after Gravik.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what makes her think. I don't know that she could take him out, unless that's some special kind of gun or something. I just have a bad feeling that it's Nick.
Well, if she doesn't know that Gravik has done the super soldier thing, then
Yeah,
a normal gun would kill him.
yeah, that's a really good point. That's
Yeah.
a very good point.
So Fury's wife is his mom in Chinatown. Fury's wife is his mom in Unbreakable.
How much older is she than Jackson?
I don't think that much older. In Breakable, he had that condition that made him look older and feeble.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So,
Huh.
yeah, that was a really weird. Yeah.
Okay.
Because his whole character, Mr. Glass, was weird.
Okay.
But Fury's wife is his mom, like in Chinatown. Okay, I see what you're doing.
Oh, okay. I see that.
Man, Chinatown. Talk about a movie that everybody wants to copy and nobody can.
I've never seen it.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those movies. Like it doesn't sound very interesting to me, and it doesn't have enough spaceships in it.
It is a really well acted movie with a good twist.
I'm sure it is. I don't doubt it for a moment. I've never seen The Godfather, so it's like I'd have to see that before I'd ever see Chinatown. But
Yeah. I would watch Chinatown over Godfather.
wow, okay.
I think it's a better directed and better told story.
Okay.
Godfather's good, but I think Chinatown is better.
I read the novel of Godfather. One of the biggest fans of the movie made me read the book, and I actually enjoyed the book pretty much. I mean, again, it's like I'll get around to watching it one of these days.
Now, if you do watch Chinatown, don't forget there's a sequel.
Yes.
The Two Jakes.
What's it called?
The Two Jakes.
Yeah. But does it have Jack Nicholson in it?
I believe so.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, what did we come out of this new episode with? That the Super Skrulls are
really
happening.
Complicated.
that Gravik is pretty smart. The Super Skrulls are happening. We don't know as much about Fury as we think we know.
Mm-hmm.
At least from Talos' point of view, he made Fury.
Mm-hmm.
And that Rhodey is most likely a Skrull.
My takeaway is that everybody is pissed at Nick Fury, and everybody wants to rip him a new, a-hole.
Yeah.
That's my takeaway.
Yeah, he's not a beloved character.
No. Yeah, I mean, and he's most likely in the wrong. He stayed away and he disappeared, and nobody wants to let him forget that at all.
Yeah. My biggest reason for thinking that Rhodey's hasn't been a Skrull for a long time is because it would cheapen the scene with Tony's death in Endgame, and it would also really make some weird stuff going forward for Armor Wars.
Yeah, unless Armor Wars is informed by the fallout from this.
It could be. It could be that,
which I still think that that's possible, but I mean, I am seriously hoping that he was not I can't imagine the same guy who, I mean, I love all of Rhodey's stuff in Infinity War, or Endgame. I'm sorry, Endgame mostly. I love the relationship that he starts to have with Nebula. They're almost like a team. Rhodey has one of my most favorite lines from a Marvel movie, and that's when he tries to tell off Carol Danvers, where he says, "Hey, new girl, we're all about that superhero thing here." I just love that whole line, and he does it so well. And it's like I can't imagine a Skrull saying or doing any of that stuff.
True. But then again, who would get along better with an alien than another alien?
Right. But I would question what would benefit the Skrull to do all the things that Rhodey does in Endgame, But I don't like the idea of a Skrull being there at Tony's funeral or anything else like that. Yeah,
there's a lot of things that would make sense. Like, well, if Tony Stark is one of the best adventurers in humanity. Mm-hmm. So putting a Skrull in as his best friend to keep an eye on him makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
There's ways around it, but I prefer him not be a Skrull, at least not for very long.
Yeah, No, I don't. I mean, I get it. It's like the people who make the show say what would have the greatest impact on people, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a good impact. It's like Maria Hill's death. Like, we're going to do this because it's going to have a huge impact. It's going to tell everybody that we're damn serious in this show. There's no effing around. So that's why we're going to do it. And that would really have an impact. I would be totally pissed, which would be an impact.
Plus the thing with, you kill Maria Hill in the first episode, and it makes Gaia's death seem more plausible in the third.
True.
So.
True.
Yeah, plus a lot of this is stripping Fury down, as Jamal points out, making Fury alone. Mm-hmm. You now question his wife.
Yeah.
You question his relationship with Talos.
Yeah.
Maria Hill's gone. Rhodey is off the map. He can't reach out to anybody else.
Yeah.
Even Olivia Colman is questioning whether he should be there.
We have to get to a point where it turns around and Nick starts doing proactive things, because right now he's literally just sort of being dragged, in around. He has to do something big towards the end that we would call heroic, or has some agency to it. But it's really, it's like the situations are just kicking him around at this point.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get that until. I think we'll get something big at the end of this episode, which will change things. Mm-hmm. This will be your going into your third act.
Yeah.
and changing things and he'll be proactive through the last two.
Yeah.
But I think by the end of this next episode, it's going to feel like impossible for Fury to win.
Yeah.
Because that's storytelling, that's the arc.
Oh, I watched in my Easter egg video, and they made us kind of what I think is a dumb supposition that at one point in this last episode we see the world leaders people, but they're in those machines with the beam going through their head. I would assume those are the real humans in there. Somebody said, no, that's the Skrull ones, and they're being put back into those things and it's like, no, that's the actual humans that they're just showing that they're being held in those things. I mean, you didn't think that was anything other than that, right? Okay, good. I feel better. I feel a lot better.
Those are the people that they're taking over.
Yeah.
And they keep them alive so that they can access their memories.
Right. Yeah, I didn't get that. That was just weird.
Yeah. Some of those guys, they miss it. Sometimes they miss things.
Yep, I agree. And I mean, I like this particular show, but yeah, I just couldn't agree with that one at all. And that may just be a case where like, oh no, I have to make some kind of a different or say something different from all the other review shows. So they just make shit up, I guess.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people talk negatively about this series, but it's only the people online. You're not seeing like the average people talking bad about it. The numbers are horrible. A lot of people binge watch these things. They'll wait till the end and watch it all at once.
Yeah. I've already heard the, worst Marvel series yet. Like, what? Like, I cannot agree. Cannot agree.
Yeah. No, I think this is great. I think it harkens back to things like 3 Days of the Condor and those 70s spy thrillers. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Winter Soldier. It's got that feel to it. The difference though is that Winter Soldier was a 2-hour movie that they pushed everything in. Mm-hmm. This has a little more room to breathe, so we can build the suspense. We can lay out more stuff.
Yep.
And so it's like a 6-hour movie, but it's not going to be It's not going to be like 3 movies with all those big action scenes in it.
Yeah.
It's a 6-hour TV show.
I remember the criticism that I really loved. Somebody said, all this is the script for Captain Marvel 2 that never happened, and they just made it into a TV series. And it's like, well, I'd say I didn't even know where to begin with that one, so I didn't bother. Like, well, what? Like, number one, so what? Well, even if it was, like,
the thing is that Marvel has gotten to the point, and popularity is a roller coaster. On your way up, everybody loves you. When you get to the top, everybody hates you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally.
So all of these sites feel that they must come out and say negative things to get anybody to watch. Because if you just come out going, oh, this is great, no one's going to care. But if you come out going, this is the worst series ever, then people are going to click going, why do you think it's bad? I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's the nature of the internet that is creating all this negativity that I don't think is really there from the fan base.
Mm-mm.
I look online and I see people going, it's slow. Okay. But it's a TV series.
Yeah.
It's not a movie.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm not hearing a lot of complaints.
Yeah. It's not a superhero movie. That's just not what this is. This is supposed to be like, a Cold War thriller. Like who is the secret communists? They're infiltrated us. I mean, that's exactly what the Skrulls are.
Yeah, Jamal says it there. The show is a political drama, not a superhero slugfest.
Yeah, yeah, and they can't roll with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
It didn't have. I mean, it had a couple big action scenes. It started with a big action scene.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
Which was great. But then it became more of a political thriller.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm good with that. And that's so I think people are, again, just trying to find things to get people to click. I hate
Absolutely.
clickbait. I hate that. Absolutely hate it with a passion. And there's such negativity out there,
Mhm.
whether it's towards these shows, it's towards James Gunn and what he's doing. There's so much negativity towards James Gunn right now, and it's like he hasn't even put anything out yet. So
I think that the poster child for online negativity has got to be Kathleen Kennedy.
yeah, yeah,
She's
it was
just, I mean, they just pile on her, man. Whew.
yeah. And the funny thing is that people look back at these shows that they hated on, and now they're hating on the new stuff, and the stuff they hated on before suddenly wasn't that bad.
Right. That's always
You
gonna
know,
that's
that
always gonna
Solo, a
happen.
Star Wars story, was much better than I thought it was.
Yes.
We
Yep.
should get more of that. We should get some more David Glover as or Donald Glover as Lando, and let's get that the eye chart guy, Aiden Ironreich or whatever,
I sure
because it does look like if you took all the letters off an eye chart and made it a
Right.
name, it would be his.
Right.
Let's get him back as Han Solo, and
Yep.
yeah,
Yep. Yeah, I swear to God, just give it a little bit of time, and we're gonna have how Jar Jar was the greatest thing, ever, and we need. It's almost there because people are back on the Ahmed Best, bandwagon now. So it's almost there. Hayden Christensen, went from despised to the savior, the second coming. Everybody loves him, so
oh yeah,
it'll happen.
everyone. Oh, and Ahmed Best or Ahmad Best. Everybody loves Ahmad Best now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, you hated him as Jar Jar.
Yep.
He
Yep.
almost killed himself, and now people are going, you know, I think Jar Jar should be a Sith.
Well, if it makes it more palatable for you, then okay.
I
Totally
just,
agree. Totally agree. I'm looking forward to Secret Invasion. I'm already doing my oh no, we only have 3 more episodes left thing. Like how can they possibly end this in
yeah.
3 episodes?
Jamal says he saw Dial of Destiny twice today.
Good
Excellent.
for you.
Yeah,
Good for you.
I haven't seen it, but I want to,
Yeah.
and I'm going to.
Yep.
I saw half of the Flash so far. Didn't hate it.
In pieces, right?
Well, it popped up on TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not seeing that much anymore, though. Not, I haven't noticed any new films in the last week or two, but if it makes you happy, there you go. Sheryl Crow.
Mm-hmm.
Sheryl Crow is the official bird of comic book movies. If it makes you happy, that should just be the motto.
Yes, indeed.
Man, I have come to hate the internet and all the people on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. So, which is weird that I'm on the internet and I do all these shows.
I know, right? You're either, part of the you're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem.
I try very hard to find the good in everything I see because I know that a lot of people worked hard and nobody sets out to make a bad movie. And then there's John Malkovich.
Right.
John Malkovich has made some very odd choices. But his Agatha Christie movie,
Okay.
there's only 2 movies that I put in that category. His version of the ABC Murders and Seth Rogen's version of the Green Hornet. Those are
Yeah,
despicable.
there you go.
Those are despicable. I will find something nice about every other movie. But, there was some good moments in Geely. Showgirls had great choreography.
Boy, you really can find the positive in things.
Yep. I like the scene where she's talking about wearing a Versace dress, and somebody says that's Versace. Just there's just to show the fish out of the water thing. There's some
Yeah.
moments.
I mean, you're a fan of 1776, right? So
I'm a huge fan of 1776, but there's a lot of them with me. So I'm a fan of Buckaroo Banzai. I'm
I'm a huge fan of Buckaroo Banzai.
Yeah.
Yeah, is there somebody who doesn't like Buckaroo Banzai?
It's a lot
Oh
of
my, oh my God, that's one of my favorite films. I
I
absolutely
like Major League 3 Back in the Minors with Scott Bakula.
okay. I love the 1967 Casino Royale. Now there's a tough one to
There
get
you
people
go. There you go.
to be on board with.
I hate the movie The Piano.
Uh-oh. Well, that was one of my late wife's favorite films.
Really? Because we need a show on that.
Yeah, she really, really loved that movie. Yep.
For me, there's a moment where the piano falls off the boat,
mm-hmm.
and the rope wraps around her leg and pulls her under.
Mm-hmm.
And if they would have ended at that moment,
Hmm.
I think it would have been a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of the Wile E. Coyote moment killing her,
Mm-hmm.
they have the half-naked guys dive in the water and save her.
Yeah.
Take her back to this island where she lives out with Sam O'Neill and Anna Paquin.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got a fake finger now.
You know why? Because that's a legend. That's a folk story called the Armless Maiden. And that's why they did. You know what is an Armless Maiden story is Empire Strikes Back.
Mm-hmm.
Luke falls. Basically, he goes underwater. He gets his hand cut off. He falls, but he comes back and he gets the artificial hand. That's the Armless Maiden story, and I learned that from my wife because she wasn't a Star Wars fan, but we were talking about the piano, and she's going on and on. She's like, "It's an Armless Maiden story," and then she gets stopped and she goes, "Well, wait a minute. So is your Star Wars thing?" And I'm like, "What?" And she explains it beat by beat, and I'm like, holy crap, it is. It's exactly that.
Okay, but at the end of the piano, she's talking.
Okay. It's been a long time since I've watched that movie. So
at the end of the piano, she's talking, and they never tell you why.
Okay.
She spends the entire movie not talking. And the only thing I could figure is that they were paying Amy, whatever the actress's name was.
Oh, isn't that terrible?
I think they were paying her by the word.
Okay. Okay.
Because that's the only thing that makes sense. Because she just starts talking at the end of the movie, and they never explain why.
I'm sorry, I have to be faithful on that one.
I get it.
What I feel about the movie.
It won a ton of awards. I get it. I get it. But it's still just, had she died in the water, it would have been this amazing metaphor that she was dragged down by her piano. Yep. The thing that gave her life was what brought her death. That would have been an incredible metaphor, and it would have stopped without all this extra stuff that makes no sense.
But see, the Armless Maiden is that you suffer trauma and you submerge into your own psyche, and then you're reborn. See, that's
I get that.
Okay,
but it doesn't make it a better movie.
Okay, so like Luke should literally just have fallen out the bottom of Cloud City, and that should have been the end of that, right?
No, because that makes sense how it ended. I'm saying that they might have done an Armless Maiden story, but it didn't make sense.
Okay.
Then again, I'm also one that likes to turn off the Super Bowl between the Carolina Panthers and the New England Patriots right when the Panthers tie the game.
Okay. Now you're into sports, so I'm done. I'm totally done. I'm throwing up a wall. You're into sports now. And my laptop is about ready to run out of its charge, and my damn power cord's in the other room. So
that's okay. We're about 15 minutes over anyway.
Yeah.
And we are so off topic.
I
And
know.
the fact that there are still people here listening.
Dan,
is
have you
simply
seen our
hilarious.
show before? Have you actually seen this show before? Okay.
No, I've never seen it. I've always just been part of it.
Okay.
There has never been a Pop Go the Writers that I have not been in. So I've never.
All right, we'll get Paul's story in here. You just sit in the audience, and he and I will do an episode, okay?
More power to you. I'd love to see it. Or I'll have Kyle come on and do it, or Jay.
Okay.
You and Jay can do a show one night.
I think you, just so you can be in the audience, I think that would be great. Yes,
because Jay should have access to this.
Okay.
All right, guys. Have a great week. I will be doing my show Tuesday and Wednesday this week. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do Thursday because I got notification from the power company. They're changing a power pole, and we might have outages sporadically all day that day.
That's a likely story.
Yeah. And since I don't currently have a hamster to run the generator, I may not be able to do my show on Thursday.
Okay.
But all right, guys, we will see you during the week. And of course, next week for Pop Go the Writers. Have a great time. Jim, have a good week, and we'll